Hi everybody, I hope you're all well. This is part 23 of 31 Days in August, and today's comic is Strikeforce Morituri #1. Now, sadly, this isn't the original #1. This was a one-shot reprint of #1, which Marvel brought out in about early this year, about March 2012. I remember reading this series in I think it was the Spider-Man Weekly comic. They reprinted a few of the first 4 or 5 issues, I think it was, of this series. Now, Strikeforce Morituri, it's set in not too distant future, where aliens have invaded the Earth. They've almost completely conquered it. They've stripped away most of its natural resources, and the humans are starting to fight back. They found out that there is a way that you can give certain people superpowers to be able to fight off the alien hordes. Unfortunately, the people who are given the superpowers only live for a year at the most, and then their powers go haywire, their bodies burn out, and they end up dying from their own genes just explode. Their own genetic structure just explodes because they can't control the energy and the power that's holding them. Now, the title Strikeforce Morituri says on the top of it, "We who are about to die." Yeah, that's up there. Yep, that comes from a Latin phrase, and you'll have to excuse me, but my Latin was never very good. And Latin phrase is "Ave Imperator Morituri te salutant," which is "Hail Caesar, those who are about to die salute you," which is what supposedly was said by the Roman gladiators in the arenas in ancient Rome. In this story, in this issue, we have the main character who has just volunteered for the Morituri program. He goes off to have the experiments done on him to see if he's capable of being able to handle the power, if his genetic makeup is able to take the power, and he's been given the all clear, and he can go and be given power so he can fight for humans, for mankind, against the alien hordes. Interestingly enough, this come out in 1986, December 1986, and which is round about the same time as Watchmen come out. Now, I don't know, I can't remember which one came out first. I think Watchmen might have come out first. But in this issue of Strikeforce Morituri, the main character is reading a comic book, and it's called The Last Stand of the Black Watch, which is supposed to be a comic book based on a group of Morituri superheroes who go into battle against the Horde and win quite a major war against the invading aliens. And through this this comic, the main character reading The Last Stand of the Black Watch, the comic inside the comic reflects his worries and his anticipation on what's going to happen to him in a year's time when his powers destroys his body and he can't, you know, hold it anymore, and he'll end up dying. The whole of the first issue here is all about the different characters coming to terms with their new powers, and also coming to terms with the fact that they have at the very most 12 months to live. They within that 12 months they have to have a strict training sessions so they can get used to their powers and be able to use them to their full potential to help mankind fend off this alien horde. As they are on one of their training missions, the alien horde actually come down and attack the base that they're in, and using their powers they manage to fend off the aliens, and that is basically their first training session, really. Now, as I said, this is not the original issue. In this one, they've got much more. They got many more in-depth bits and pieces at the back of it. Obviously, where the original issue would have had adverts, this has got no adverts in it whatsoever. It's just the first issue with no adverts. So at the back, you've got the official Strikeforce Morituri handbook, which goes into the different badges of the countries or the continents around the world in this future Earth. You also have a bit on the Black Watch, some of the new members, some schematics of the Horde alien spaceships, and also it goes into other known alien races that have come to this future Earth. There's also some pin-ups of covers from different issues. You've got the cover for Volume 1 of Strikeforce Morituri. You also have Volume 2, Volume 3, and just a couple of extra pin-ups there. From what I remember of this series, reading it in the weekly comics that I used to get here in the UK, it was really a really interesting and innovative idea that you had these people who are willing to give up their lives to get superpowers, to knowing that at the end they were going to die. Beforehand, you had people who were heroes. They were born with their powers. They developed their powers when they went through puberty, or they were bitten by radioactive spiders, or they trained themselves to such an extent where they could be a master martial artist or world's the greatest detective and that. But before this, all the heroes beforehand, they either got their powers by accident, or there was something that happened to them in their past that made them want to get powers or be a superhero. This was, to me anyway, this series was the first time I'd ever read about characters who actually went out of their way to get superpowers, even though they knew that it wasn't going to last, and neither were they. So in my young mind, people who were willing, it was an amazing thing that to have people willing to give up their lives for superpowers, for the ability to, like, not necessarily just for superpowers, it was also to help mankind and save the Earth, but basically this is what it was about: people willing to give up their lives to gain superpowers, which, like I said, in my young mind at the time, was an absolutely unfathomable thing to do. You know, yeah, you might want to be able to run as fast as the Flash, or fly like Superman, or climb walls like Spider-Man, or you know, be able to throw fire like the Human Torch, but you didn't want to die at the end of it, you know. And obviously the characters in this story don't want to die, but they know they're going to. If you can find these fairly cheaply, I'm not quite sure how sought after they are with this series. I think it went on for about 30 issues. I think it was. It didn't go on for long. I know that much. But if you can find the trade paperbacks for them, then I would definitely see if you could get the first trade paperback, because it was the first story arc, the first sort of 6 or so issues that I remember reading, and that was probably the best of the comics that they brought out for this series. Right, that's today's comic. Tomorrow is Friday, which means it's going to be the Mark goes into his comic book collection and tries not to break his back by pulling out heavy boxes for you lot. It is the viewer's choice random video selection draw, where a lot of you out there have graciously given me numbers, and you've watched me previously pull out numbers and go into the back here. If you haven't already given me numbers, then I'll let you know. I need numbers between 1 and 51, which corresponds to the boxes behind me, and numbers 1 to 300, which corresponds to the comics that are inside the boxes. If you have already given me numbers, thank you so much. If you want to give me more numbers, that's fine, because the more numbers that go in the hat means there's more randomness for the comics that I'm going to be reviewing for Saturday and Sunday. If you've already given me numbers and I've pulled them out, then yeah, if you want to, you can give me more numbers. And don't forget, if you give me numbers and you're subscribed to this channel, that's the two things: give me numbers and subscribe to the channel, then you can be entered into, if you wish to, you can be entered into the raffle for a couple of prizes that I've found around here that I'm going to give away to people who have been, you know, helpful enough to give me numbers and who are subscribed to the channel. So yeah, tomorrow's comic is a complete mystery to me, so you'll find out tomorrow. And also tomorrow we will also find out what Saturdays and Sundays comics are going to be. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Hope, if you haven't already got this, hope this is would want to make you want to pick this up to have a look at, because it's really good read. Yeah, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Take care, and ta-ta for now.